Hey everybody, and welcome back to the vlog. Well, I'm going to do a little update on our boy Morris Weiss, the gangster from the 20s. I mean, can you imagine this guy with one of those fedora hats and a trench coat with 245s from the in one of them gangster cars where the gangsters hang on the what do you call it, the foot rail or whatever, with a Thompson 45 machine gun spraying people. That's what this guy really did. That's who Morris Weiss really did. And I only wish I had a picture of the guy. Okay, so Morris Weiss was born in 19. I'm going to give you an update because I don't like doing a video without putting real names of the real people that committed the real crime. So I did a little research. So he was born in 1905. So in 1975, he was what, 65? Coming out right 60, but he looked much older than that. He lived a really tough life. So and this is what I didn't tell you. Okay, so Morris Weiss was doing time for murder. I think it was a 1970 murder. No, it's 1970, 1960s, 10 years prior. We're talking about 1974, 1975, Queens House of Detention. That's where I met him when he was already serving a 20-year sentence or a 15-year sentence for a murder. So now, while he's upstate, he gets indicted in Queens for yet another murder. But he never really talked about it. He was smart enough not to talk about his cases because every time I would ask him, well, so what's your charge? He goes, you never talk about your charge. Never mind my charge. It's bullshit. So I figured it was a bullshit charge. I knew came from upstate. So anyway, he so he was on trial for murder. He didn't give a as long as I had those girls coming to visit him, he didn't give a fuck where he was. He really did. Okay, so now we know about Chubby. We got his name. So let's talk about Henny. His name, we called him Henny, but his real name was Henry Bohle, Bohle. And he too was the same age as Morris, except he looked like he had one foot in the grave. This guy, and I think 5 years or 6 years after he got out of prison, he died. He died. The victim in this case, the of Main Street taxi cab, the two owners was Henry and of course Louis Izzo, Izzo. Louis is the one I was supposed to whack, and Louis is the one that I met in the grand jury. There was a bunch of grand jury witnesses when we were going to indict Henry. So we're in Manhattan, 100 Center Street. We're in there. He comes walking in, and I was sitting with, I think, Tom Harkins, Detective Tom Harkins. And who is Tom Harkins? This is Tom Harkins, a great guy right there. Us Irish guys got to stick together. And he whispers to me, that's the victim. And I never met the guy before. So this is the first time I'm talking to him. So I'm sitting where all the cops sit. Okay. So he comes in. Jim Doherty was there. Tommy introduced him. And he goes, and he looked right at me. And he goes, is this the informant? And everybody looked at everybody because this is like secret testimony. Just because you're in a room waiting to go up to testify doesn't mean you're not supposed to know who it is. And so Tommy looked at me, I looked at Jimmy, and they didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to say. So I said, it's okay, yeah, I'm the guy. I'm the guy that worked undercover. And he shook my hand and he picked me up, pulled me out of the seat, and he said, thank you so much. And he was crying. Because he was really scared. Because once Henry was arrested, they told him how close to death he was. I think at first he said, oh, he was probably rattling off. And then they said, nope, Morris Weiss, Chubby Velasco, these are organized crime members. And holy crap, he shit in his pants. Because, you know, a lot of people say, oh, I want that guy killed. And like I told you before, I have to give the suspect, the target, I used to call him target, a way out. And when we left the restaurant that day, I said, listen, are you sure now? Because a lot of people in the heat of the moment, that's why you can't buy a gun without a 5 or 10-day waiting, cooling off period, they call it. Because some people get pissed off, they don't have a gun, they run to a store and they shoot somebody. So, you know, I think that's what he thought this was. That Henry's just an old, doddering old man. He probably told the wrong one. But no, when he realized that this was organized crime and that he was, you know, if meaning Morris, if Morris didn't solicit him to murder you, you would be dead now if he got a real guy. And then it was a moment. It was a moment where the guy hugged me and thanked me. And the guy was crying. I think the guy was a little younger than Henry. Right? We called him Henny. But he was kind of shaky. I mean, it's a scary thing. I mean, so anyway, that's who the two victims' names was. And I also want to talk about, I guess I got ahead of myself, or I had a senior moment. It's the only cool thing about fast approaching 70 is when you do an F up, you just go, hey, I'm old, I forgot. I'm fucking old, I forgot. That's what I do. And especially the young people, they go, okay, shit. So as I was telling the story about Milton Lewis and Ted Kavanaugh, and how Milton Lewis picked up the receiver and he unscrewed the microphone and he handed it to me, and I called Peter Benitez. Well, everybody knows that's impossible without the thing, but that's not what happened. Milton Lewis unscrewed the microphone, put it to his ear, and had me call Peter Benitez from an extension so that he could hear everything I was telling Peter, so he could verify that I was for real. Okay, and the other thing I'd like to talk about on this last video is that, okay, so so of course too, I don't know if I told you guys this. This was an exclusive, only eyewitness news. That, you know, some people might be saying, oh, well, all the channels will have the news. Nope. They wanted an exclusive. I had to sign a little thing that I wasn't going to talk to no other news media. Because back then, all you had to do is pick up the phone, not like today. You log on and just pick up the phone. Let me speak to who's your crime guy. And it was this guy, Ted Kavanaugh. But I think Milton Lewis was the one that actually did the show, the reporting of it on air. So the name of the segment, I mean, as soon as eyewitness news, and they would say, you know, what's coming. They would promote the story that was coming. And of course, my story was, and the hiring of a hitman. Boom! That was like big freaking news. It was big news. So I just wanted to touch it. And if anybody knows how to, I know how to get newspaper clippings, but how do you get newsreels from the media? I don't know, but if anybody knows, leave a comment in the section below. And I would love to get that. I would love to get that. And it was so funny because he had to verify the story. So I called him up. I said, okay, he got locked up. And they go, okay, where is he? And I said, he's in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office jail right now. They have a little holding cell there where the prisoners would be. And I said, just call and ask for Jim Darby. He's out there in the office. And he calls up and Jim Darby, hey, I understand you arrested Henny, whatever his name is, and for hiring a hitman. He goes, well, how did you find out? That's why I never told that part of this story ever. Well, my friend Jim Doherty was alive, because he would have put his foot in my ass. I never told this story. And of course, this story is in the book. It's in my book. But you get on the video. how the hell? I mean, they only had the guy. They barely made it from Queens to One Hogan Place, and he goes, "Yeah, we want to know information." Well, how the hell did you find out? We just came here. He said, so Milton, I could hear Milton Lewis on the phone from on the other side of the desk. And he said, "Well, we have our sources. What's his charges, and what can you tell me?" "Well, we can't tell me. Tell you, it's no secret." He's up the guy, and he's going to me. He's scratching his head. How the hell did that? He goes, "That's the media." Yeah, okay, so I got my 500 bucks. And Jimmy never knew. He never knew that story. Okay, so now we got everybody's story except Morris Weiss. Whatever happened to Morris Weiss? Well, I'll tell you, he took a plea deal on the murder for 15 years. And Morris Weiss, I didn't notice. It's in my book. It's in the back of the book where it says all the characters, what happened to them, where they are today. And Morris was paroled or maxed out. I think he maxed out. I think he got 15th alive. He got out in 1990. And let's see, 65, 71. So he got out in his late 80s. He used to tell me, "Hey, when you go in there, don't be pushing your gun out like this. Hold it to your side and tell them, get over there." Like when you watch a James Cagney movie from the 30s or something. Anyway, I just wanted to give those updates out, and I'm gonna see you on the next one.